when you put your hands on me. Touch me. Love when you put your hands on me. Touch me. Love when you put your hands on me. Trust me. Watch me. Give you a good time. Touch me. Love when you put your hands on me. Love when you put your hands on me. Give you a good time. Give you a good. Give you a good time. Give you a good.
Gay, Mom.
It doesn't make any sense. What makes you think you're gay?
I know, I'm gay.
Yeah, better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this.
And it's hot, obviously.
Yeah, really hot.
I am about to start filming this short film that I wrote, and I would love for you to be in it.
So how many do you plan on making? Or
well, I have 30 written so far.
I don't trust people in their dirty dicks, like I can't.
That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't hear, I don't say. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. Down, wonder when I'm anxious.
Next request, just keep it down just a little bit, because if you can hear it from outside, sit down.
We're gonna have a problem. You have nothing to say.
I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care.
Let's look at me and use. That can happen.
I ain't perfect. Let them watch me elevating.
Hey there, this is Terrance Styyles, cast member of, guess what? You know it is. Set it off. Atlanta, ATL. So I'm coming before you because there is a new show that I have executive produced. It's a talk show. It's called The Manual. I have now been able to have a platform where I'm able to show this talk show that I have recorded a few years ago, and I just had it shelved because I needed to find the right opportunity and the right platform to showcase it. So now is the time for me to showcase The Manual. I want to thank everyone who was involved during the time of filming The Manual. I appreciate the time that you've put in. This was not an easy project, but I made it happen. So I want everyone to enjoy The Manual. It's a 7-week episodes that I'll be showing, 7 weeks of episodes. So I want you to check it out. It's still relevant to today. I've even included some females in an episode. So for all you ladies, I did not leave you out. So I thank you so much for supporting not only just Set It Off, not only me, but also I want you to support The Manual. I want you to like it. I want you to comment. I want you to share. It is something to watch. All right. And if you enjoy it and you want me to come back with more episodes, please, by all means, hit me up and let me know. And I'm sure that we can probably make that happen. All right. So thank you so much for watching all 7 episodes of The Manual. Take care. Peace. Hello, welcome to The Manual. I'm your host, Terrance Styyles. And The Manual is a show created by men for all walks of life to discuss what we endure during our lifetime. Despite our ethnicity, our sexual orientation, our economic class, our religion, we have JB, Mike, Rig, and Jerome, and of course myself. We're going to discuss men and our sexuality. So remember that you don't have to make sexuality define all of who you are. We're more than just our sexuality. Remember that and you'll go far in life. I'm going to go right into it, fellas. Why is or do you feel sex is so overrated? JB, I want to hear from you. Do you feel sex is overrated?
No. Not at all. I don't think sex gets enough rating and credit and push.
Let the Lord use you.
So absolutely not. Sex is not overrated. It is a part of human growth, human development. It's a part of human life. We all aspire to have it, even those that deny themselves it. Even when you're denying sex, you're participating in the concept of sex anyway, because you have to mentally think, I am not going to do this. I am going to focus on something else.
I agree.
So sex is everywhere. It's always present. So yeah, very, very important part of life.
Anybody want to chime in from JB? Rig?
Even on Communion Sunday?
Even on Communion Sunday, especially on Communion
Especially
Sunday.
on Communion Sunday.
Let the Lord bless you on Communion Sunday.
For me, I get he's talking about the act of sex, but I'm thinking more sex appeal.
I'm actually thinking more of just the act of sex, but go ahead.
See, hence what I said. But sex appeal, I think, is an integral part of our human experience. Is it everywhere? No, it's like an emotion. You turn it on and you turn it off.
Okay.
Well, the fact of the matter is we live in a society that is completely moved by sex. And we see that from our social medias all the way to the commercials, to television. No matter what it is, we use sex to buy and sell whatever. So sex is here. I think we should embrace it more. I think that we should stop making it so taboo. And I think that we should become more comfortable with our sexuality so that we will be able to move forward in truth.
Jerome?
I think sex has been diluted from religion.
Yes.
I think that was something that was created for us to procreate or show different emotions towards each other, relate to each other. And I think that once we got into the land of religion, whether it's Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, whatever, it put us in a place of stagnantness where you just, sex is the last thing on your mind when that's the first emotion that you have as a human being. When you are a young man or a young woman, whatever, you have a sense of sexuality where if you touch something, you have some kind of sensation.
I don't think sex is overrated. I think people abuse the essence of sex to get to a next platform or their brand or whatever it may be to the next level of life. I think sex is necessary. Sex, depending on who you're with, is enjoyable. And I think as men, we need to tune in more with our sexuality. I believe that, especially the LGBTQ community, I think the ones on the outside, heterosexual men and women, but I think they look at us as just sex, that is all that's on our mind. And I think that's what bothers me. I think it bothers me that they look at, that's all of who we are, that we're just homosexual men. And not men in general that have dreams and desires and goals and want to raise families and love our moms and our dads and all of that stuff. So that's why I pose the question, is sex overrated? Because there are people on the outside that make it seem like that they put such a negative tone on it. And I don't think that it's necessary, because we all do, regardless if we want to admit it or not. Some people are more minute with it, and some people are just out and open and has the big old S, not for Superman, but for sex on their chest.
And I'm one of those who have the big S on the chest. But I will say this, I totally agree with you when it comes to sexuality being demonized, and many times heterosexuals will look at homosexuals like that's all that we're about. The truth of the matter is, heterosexual men and women have just as much sex, can y'all testify to this, as homosexual men and women. So there's a balance. We're just sexual beings, period.
I think it's more so the aspect of the not knowing or the not understanding. I think from the heterosexual community that makes us, I think from time to time, separate ourselves or, point the finger like, oh, this person's homosexual. Well, you're heterosexual. So, what's the, where is the problem? Where is the challenge? What it is? And it's like, oh, I don't understand this. I don't know why you do it. And then it's demonized from that aspect.
I don't know. I guess I look at it a little bit differently. I don't think it's just about weaponizing. I think sometimes it's the intent. Because you can have a loose woman in a very conservative, heteronormative space and be attacked and scrutinized just like a gay man. I think when it comes to the way that we intentionalize sex, again, going back to sex appeal, marketing, sex sales, when you're trying to, attract a mate, that's sex appeal. I think it's different in terms of the physiological aspect of sex versus the expression of sex. The intentionality between both of them, sometimes they're aligned, but they're very different depending on your gender.
I think we fear a lot of times what we don't understand. So I think the issue is, for example, if I grew up in an abusive household, then abuse looks normal to me.
That's right.
So you could be doing something that's unabusive completely, but because I don't understand it, it comes off as, offensive or
lack of love.
Yeah, this is terrible. I've never seen this before. What is this? And it's nothing as bad as the abusive household I've been growing up in, but I'm used to that.
But I think
know
the
what it's like
indicator
to see, this woman get beat up, and so that's fine. But then I see a homosexual, and I'm like, that's not. I don't understand that, and then, so I demonize that, but I won't demonize.
But I think the indicator of that is awareness. Before puberty, we weren't thinking about boys and girls in sexual types of ways. We were connecting energy, proximity, and experience. But as that awareness grows, the same way you were talking about abuse, sometimes a victim is not aware that they're being abused or victimized until they come into contact with that awareness. Oh, that was wrong.
Right.
Oh, that was not right. I shouldn't have been touched that way. Right. That awareness is never there in that cognitive reasoning that we associate with deviancy, because that's the other thing that I think we're talking about here. Oftentimes there's this parallel between sexual expression when it's not conservative, Christian, and clean, to deviancy. And I think when we think about it from a universal truth, sex is just a manifestation of desire and the ability to connect or express. That's it.
This is for Jerome and JB. So, how do you guys have been on previous episodes of the manual. What has the experience been like and your comfortability in being in a space with homosexual men, and how does that affect or not affect your day-to-day lives, or just being in the comfort of gentlemen that are homosexuals?
It's not different at all, but you've got to be open to the experience. So you can be a little hesitant, and a lot of that is, maybe a fear of being judged. Oh, this is, so now you have gay friends, so are you gay too? This and that, the other. So there's that challenge.
Does that bother you?
Well, you know what? I think that if you allow it to bother you, and so what I look at a lot of times is if that's the perspective that people take, then I'm starting to wonder, well, what would other people, what are people thinking? Like, what's going on there? And this is the same aspect when it comes to race and, things of that nature. I think racism persists because there are people on the other side of the coin that won't necessarily stand up and step forward and go, you know what, this is wrong. Or let me see what it would be like to interact with different races and get to know people at the core of who they are, and then take a look at the balance of life. Like, who's now judging you for being around these different races and demonizing you for crossing the line, so to speak, in their own mind. So I think those types of things have to happen. For our culture and our community to grow, we've got to cross lines. We've got to step outside our comfort zone and do those types of things, or else we will just perpetuate the stereotypes that continue, and then it'll just keep going on and on and on like that. So,
Jerome?
For me, my understanding kind of started when I was younger. I would say it's not similar, but for a situation, my mother, she's a light-skinned woman, considers herself African American, whatnot from there. So my first mindset when I was younger, I wanted to date a white girl. I asked my mother, how would you feel if I dated a white? I would rather you stay within your race. From there, I'm the type of rebellious mindset. If you tell me to do this, I'm going to do the opposite. So I dated the girl for 4 years. My mom grew to love her. She valued her, appreciated her. When we broke up, I mean, it is what it was. But that opened my perspective to saying, who am I to judge? Who is my mother to say, I need to stay within this race? Why can't we just all be one and not just look at our color, sexual orientation, or anything like that? So I've had gay friends from college. I worked in Midtown at a hotel for 4 years. I've seen gay pride. I've seen it all, and there's no judgment there.
Do you have any gay friends now?
I do. I have quite a few, but I've seen quite a bit, and I've learned not to judge them because that's their expression of their life and their happiness. Who am I to judge how someone expresses themselves? If I express myself one way, and somebody expresses, this is how we become as human and see different aspects of who we are or who we can be.
Amen to that. Brady, you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, there's the universal truth. There's room for everybody at the table.
Yeah.
And I think that, not to trivialize it with this next statement, but if we all go to a restaurant, we all order what we want. Am I going to get upset because you are ordering bacon and I may not like pork and make you get up from the table? Am I going to bother you that you ordered steak or whatever? Like, if we all have our options that we choose, just correlating food in the restaurant to expression, then why can we not take that? If there's room for everybody at the table, why are we judging people for what they're ordering off the menu?
I think one standpoint is that people think that there's not room for everybody at the table.
That's
and
right.
That stems
That's
from
right.
religion.
Right. Because we feel if you don't come to the table looking like me, sounding like me, thinking like me, acting like me, then you don't belong.
Right.
And that I'm the only type of norm that there is. And that is so untrue. And that has been one of the
Come on, ethnocentrism.
Yeah, that's
Mean Girl syndrome.
That's one of the things that have divided us greatly when it comes to this particular matter. At the end of the day, it's about one thing that divides us when it comes to dealing with sexuality. Like, you may be attracted to women, I may be attracted to men, but at the end of the day, that has nothing to do with the core of who we are.
Absolutely. That's what this conversation is about.
I got a comment and a question.
Yes.
And so, if I'm being honest, I have not had a lot of gay friends. I know gay people. I've been around here and there, but I haven't had a lot of gay friends. And I've always wondered why that never, ever took place. They're everywhere. So why am I not making friends with them? And I think the same thing with race. If you're around black people or white people and you don't have any of those friends, or Hispanic people or Asian people, you don't have it, why is that happening? And it's about that comfort. Why should I get up from the table just because you ordered this or that or the other? And I would like to pose a question.
Yes.
Do you have any heterosexual friends?
Yes.
Male heterosexual friends?
Yes, I do. Yes.
We started out with them first.
Yes.
Started out with them first. Okay.
Yes. And then they determine, once they find out you're gay, if they still want to be your friends.
Right.
Right.
And that is all based on what they've
Their
been taught and
perspective.
what
Right, what
they've
they've been
what
taught.
they-
And
what
then-
they think.
What they order off the menu.
And when they order off the menu,
Because
they
sometimes
hashtag order off the menu.
Because sometimes the ones that you think are straight or this whatever, like, they're the ones that are, exploring their sexuality as well. I'm friends with Jerome, and he is a straight man. And we don't have those issues. Like, it's just like I'm hanging out with my homies.
But it also has to do with your own individual comfort level. If I know that I don't eat smoked salmon, and I know you love smoked salmon, then every time you put your face in a face full of fish, I can still love you.
That is
Okay. On that note, we're gonna
that
end
was
on that.
good though.
We're gonna end on that.
Good.
I do
We're
love
gonna
smoke salmon.
On that note, this
I
conversation
do love
was
smoke salmon.
everything.
I don't know how they knew that. I've never told
Salmon
you.
is good though.
It goes to show you that men can talk about our sexuality, right? But we can also leave it on the table and carry on with our lives, all right? So remember to create your own manual instead of copying what's already written. I'm Terrance Styyles. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.